will enter the forecast Saturday night and continue through the rest of the weekend. So until then, we can enjoy a mostly sunny sky today with a high around 41. Then tonight, a mostly clear sky, temperature dropping to 20. Tomorrow, sunshine, high around 40. Saturday, more of the same with the high around 49. But again, today, gradually becoming mostly sunny, high around 41.
Some people just have a knack for being there when you need them the most, like your third grade classmate who sticks up for you against that bullet, the neighbor who gives you the jump start, and the friend who chases away that flock of geese at your outdoor wedding. Your State Farm agent has your back, too, through good times and the not so good. And who's got your agent's back? State Farm, the company people have trusted for more than 90 years. We're here to help life go right. Call State Farm agent Barkley Hudson at 270-365-7521.
Since 1978, Perry's Floors & More has been selling, installing, and servicing homeowners throughout Western Kentucky with quality flooring and workmanship. Perry's Floors & More carries luxury vinyl plank and luxury vinyl tile, carpet, window treatments, and more. Brands like Mannington, Shaw, Tarkett, Beaulieu, and Flexitech. Quality brands, excellent customer service, combined with 40 years experience is why they say you can walk on our reputation. See Bill and Lucy at Perry's Floors & More, 127 West Market Street, Princeton.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband. He lost weight. More important, cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend went and she lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months. So does Mark Patrick hypnosis work? Oh yeah, it works. Nothing has changed my life more. Well, except maybe my husband. He's so proud of me, makes me cry.
Oh my, a touching story. So what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99. That's right. Weight loss seminar Tuesday, February 25th at the Wyndham Garden, formerly the Holiday Inn in Hopkinsville. Time is 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Registration begins at 5 p.m. Stop smoking seminar starts at 8 p.m. Registration starts 7:30 p.m.
Hello, I'm Bill Booth, Operations Manager for Edge Media Group. Heart disease is the #2 killer in Kentucky, and we need your help. We're hosting a fundraiser for the American Heart Association on Friday, February 21st, to raise money to aid in research and more effective treatments for heart disease. Your support will also help train first responders in cardiovascular care. It'll help 22 million people learn CPR each year and empower countless families and communities to live heart healthy. February is Heart Health Month. Please make plans to attend Songs from the Heart. This event includes dinner and live music from country recording artist CJ Solar. Tickets are just $25 apiece. The event is Friday, February 21st in our new radio room here at the Metroplex. Buy your tickets today. You can call 270-522-3232. Stop by our offices at Highway 68 and I-24. Your donation will help save lives.
It's time for your SportsEdge.com Sideline Report with Todd Griffin. Talking sports and more here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY and worldwide at WPKYonline.com. Here's your host, Todd Griffin.
This is the Sideline Report on 1580, 103.3 WPKY and WPKYonline.com. Thanks for joining us this morning on the show. This is Todd Griffin of YourSportsEdge.com and WPKY Radio. Ty Englebright sticking around again today to be on the show. Ty, good morning.
Good morning, Todd.
Glad you could hang around. Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Also joining us today from YourSportsEdge.com, we've got Tom Rogers in the house. Tom, welcome back to Princeton and the show.
I was just here a week ago, I think, wasn't it? About that, yeah. I want to know how you got the cool music, though, for the opening.
It just works out that way, you know.
The familiar voice.
Yeah.
The familiar voice of Tom Rogers on WPKY.
Yeah, that's the one thing you have about a familiar voice. People hear your voice come up and say, hey, I know you. And I'm like,
So lots to talk about today on the show. Bob Hayes will be joining us a little bit later on. We're going to talk a little bit more about the games down at Butler last week and the postseason basketball coming up. And Tom,
it's hard to believe that starts Monday.
Yeah, next week. And Can anybody beat Madisonville?
Maybe.
Stumped him right off the bat.
Maybe. It'll take a big effort. It will take a really, really good effort, strong effort. And they may have to have a little bit of an off night, but they're the best team we've seen around here for a little while in this region.
Well, when they release the Player of the Year, and it's a guy from Madisonville, and then they come out with the runner-up, and it's a guy from Madisonville,
and the Coach of the Year.
So this is their year. I mean, this is it. I mean, they got a little ahead of things last year by winning the region, maybe a year ahead of schedule, but this is the Madisonville.
They lose a good bit this year, but they are, you got Kenny, you got 2 6'9" guys.
Yeah.
I mean, and one of them can play point guard. So that changes a whole lot, and it'll take a whole lot to beat them.
Yeah, they've got those guys inside that can kind of clean up any mistakes anybody else makes on defense, and that's something nobody else really has.
And they've, 2 of their 3 losses have been in overtime, where a team hit a shot at the buzzer to get it to overtime, where Madisonville led in the last second and got tied at the buzzer. So they're that close to having only 1 loss.
So it could be interesting. District play starts next week. The 7th is at Madisonville. Tom, you'll be at the 8th.
At Christian County.
Yeah, that'll be crazy.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup. Hoptown County, one of them's going home, one of them's going on.
University Heights with the number 1 seed, I'm guessing.
Number 1 seed against Fort Campbell, the number 4.
We saw UHA over here the other night, and Caldwell County beat them. So, but some injuries affecting UHA too.
UHA had DJ Quarles out with a concussion. But the coach like Kerry Stovall at Christian County is not going to feel any sympathy because he's had that all year. In fact, Kerry Stovall told me the other day he had played 18 different kids on varsity level this year.
Yeah, I mean, but if you're going to make that run and you're going to get into postseason play and make that run, you want a little diversity. You want to be able to play those kids because you never know what's going to happen during that game situation when you got to call on one of those guys off the bench.
Yeah, and Kerry talked about that too, but he also said, he hates it for the seniors because they were hoping for a much better year, but because of all the injuries, it's nice that the younger kids got the experience, but the seniors are not going to have the season they wanted, which they can turn that around, obviously, if they get a win next week.
But it only matters what you do starting next week, really.
Yeah,
and that's what people remember.
Whole new season.
You play the whole season to get that seeding, and then if it matters, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't, and then you play. You're right. If Christian County were to get on a long run and go to the state tournament, everybody'd forget they were 10-18 coming down the stretch of the regular season.
Well, it's like Caldwell County's season. I've been saying this all year. You go back to the 0-5 start. They're 14-14 right now. You go back to that 0-5 start and make it 3-2, which it easily could have been. Well, now they're 17-11, and everybody's talking about what a great season the Tigers are having.
I looked up yesterday Christian County's record, just checking, and they had lost 10 games by 6 points or less. So suddenly you swing an 18-loss season into a 20-8 season.
Yeah. I mean, it can change that quickly. Sure. And, of course, you talk about Stovall not having any sympathy for UHA. Caldwell County didn't offer a whole lot of sympathy the other night either. That was one of the better games the Tigers have put together from start to finish, and I think the best thing the Tigers did in that game was having the lead late and continuing to press the issue. I think a couple of times this year they've had the lead late, and, it's that thing about learning how to win a game that you talk about a lot of times. The Tigers have put themselves in positions to win games a lot of times this year and just couldn't finish it off. The other night they kept pressing and finished that game.
The thing that would worry you, and you and I have seen this over the years that we've covered Caldwell County, the one school that scares you when you get in the district tournament is the one they're going to have to play.
Yeah.
And then you throw in the extra monkey in the ranch is that Michael's coaching over there now. But Hopkins Central has been the team that Tiger teams have gone and stubbed their toe against that team.
Well, it's the old 7th district thing. Madisonville's typically going to be number 1. Dawson historically is number 4. Well, that leaves Caldwell and Hopkins Central fighting it out there somewhere in the middle.
And those games have been, no matter what they were like in the regular season, that postseason game has always been, you never know what to expect.
And I know Coach Frelick was, probably knowing his competitive spirit, and he was probably a little disappointed in how his team has performed, but they had streaks there, and they've come along, especially later in the season, where you've seen things coming together and gelling. So no matter who you're playing when it comes district tournament time, you better be on your game.
Yeah, I mean everybody's 0-0 starting Monday.
That's right.
Need to get to a break here on the Sideline Report, but lots more to come. We've got Tom Rogers with us. Ty Englebright is here. Bob Hayes will be joining us a little bit later on. So stay with us on the Sideline Report here on 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Need cash fast? Get the money you need. Call ABC Finance now.
Life doesn't always go as planned, and sometimes money is tight when you need it most.
At ABC Finance, we're here for you.
Hi, this is Jody Lamb at the Princeton ABC Finance location.
And this is Todd Morris at the Hopkinsville location.
And we can help you in a pinch, even if your credit is less than perfect.
At ABC Finance, we provide loans up to $15,000 and the individual attention to help you get your finances back on track.
We are locally owned and staffed, and decisions are made quickly, usually within an hour.
No appointment is needed. Walk-ins are welcome.
You can even give us a call, and we will take your application over the phone.
Or you can apply online at abcfinanceonline.com.
And like ABC Finance on Facebook.
ABC Finance in Hopkinsville on Fort Campbell Boulevard next to O'Charlie's and in Princeton Plaza. ABC Finance. All loans subject to normal credit approval.
Hi, this is Holly Van Hooser with the Woodall Agency. It's wintertime, y'all, and the deer are moving and the pipes are freezing. It would be a good time to check your auto and your homeowner's policy to make sure you're covered for these unfortunate accidents. Call, email, or come in and see us at one of our convenient offices. Our email is woodall@woodallagency.com or call 365-5541 or 601-5001 in Lyon County. Call Woodall, y'all.
Do the winter blues have you down? You're not alone. Seasonal depression affects many people. If you're experiencing periods of low energy, social withdrawal, hypersomnia, or other symptoms of depression, seek help at one of our licensed professionals. Call 1-877-667-7071 to schedule an appointment at one of our 8 convenient locations in Western Kentucky. At Health First, your health is our first concern.
It's tax time. Hi, it's Christy and Casey.
Invest your tax refund wisely on an affordable vehicle at U-Ride.
Let David help you find a great vehicle at a great price. And Christy and Casey can help with all of your financing needs. U-Ride is a proud sponsor of the Sideline Report, heard every Thursday on your hometown radio station, WPKY 103.3 FM. Ask David about the U-Ride Deal of the Week and take a test drive. U-Ride on the Marion Road in Princeton.
Do your part to stimulate the economy by investing your tax refund at U-Ride.
We are back on the Sideline Report on a Thursday morning here at 1580 103.3 WPKY. Tom Rogers from YourSportsEdge.com is with us. Ty Englebright sitting in. Bob Hayes, WPKY's own, will be joining us a little bit later on in the show. And Tom, want to get to you and talk about the YourSportsEdge.com Future Stars Classic that's coming up.
The inaugural.
Yes.
I mean, you got to add that. It's the inaugural Future Stars Classic. Yeah, we have partnered with the Planners Bank Jenny Stewart Health Sportsplex in Hopkinsville, and we are conducting the first ever Future Stars Classic. It's a youth basketball tournament. It's set up for grades 1st through 8, boys and girls. And so we're recruiting teams to be a part of that. It's not very expensive. The entry fee for this event is $100. The divisions will be broken up, grades 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, both on the boys and the girls side, depending on how many, the teams that we get in. And it will be a double elimination tournament, all played on one day, March 21st. And for those who have not been to the Sportsplex, it's a very nice facility. I think basketball, they're set up where we can go 3 courts at one time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they still have a soccer field over that can be doing something else. But it'll be going 3 courts at one time. It's a neat place to play. It's easy to get to. And, we're trying to get some exposure for that. And to start off something new, at YourSportsEdge.com, we cover the high school athletes. Well, that's what we thought would be neat to do something for the future stars, the kids who are up and coming that will eventually be covering at YourSportsEdge.com. So we are going to do this on March 21st. Now, the deadline is coming up. It's not real short, but it's coming up. The deadline we have set right now is March 7th. You can go to YourSportsEdge.com. On the center of the page, we have a banner that says click here and register. Or if you go up to the navigation bar under contest and whatever else, I think we've got it up on that one too. And you just go into that, and it takes you directly to the form where you can enter your team name, your contact information, your contact address, phone number, email address, and then pick your division, and then a way to make your payment for $100.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. And like you said, the Sportsplex, been over there for basketball and volleyball. That's a pretty neat place.
Yeah. Also want to mention, because I know there are officials across the area, if you got some officials who are looking to get some work after the season, I know that's what happened, like I think on the Saturday of the Boys Sweet 16, so most of the officials are done by that point in time. But especially for younger officials who are just getting their feet into doing officiating and need to get some practice and some work in, contact the Sportsplex. Ask for Chris Young. We had been hoping to get Chris here this morning, but I think they had some some interviews they were doing for some positions there, and he was unable to get here. But we're also looking for officials to be a part of that, and you can contact Chris Young and say, hey, I'd be interested in refereeing in this event. But we're looking for as many teams as possible. There is no area limit. I mean, if you're listening and your team's 100 miles away and you want to come down that Saturday and play, and then just fill out the information, send your $100, and that's it. But we'd really like to get some teams from Hopkinsville, Clarksville, Princeton, Madisonville area, Paducah area, the Lakes area, just anywhere. And it's a really neat, like I said, it's a really neat venue. I think once the people get there and get their teams there and see it, they'll be interested in coming back for our event next year or for any others that they have. But, we'd like to get some teams there and make us a neat. We're going to have some neat medallions for the winners, and so.
Yeah, that's contact Chris Young with a J.
With a J, yeah.
That's exactly right. You want to say it the other way, but you don't. But what a great event for youngsters. I think it's 1st through 8th graders. Is that correct? So girls and boys too. So get your team together and spend a great day in Hopkinsville at a beautiful facility, and get some competition in and keep it going.
And some of these events take your whole weekend. Well, this one we're just going to one day. It's on that Saturday, and the availability of multiple courts means that we were able to get that in and pretty quick. It's really neat to go in there and see those courts full and all that going on at one time. And of course, Your Sports Edge crew will be there. There will be some things for coaches and officials, but it's just a really neat place to go.
Will they have hot dogs? Will they have hot dogs?
There'll be something.
Okay.
They do have a concession stand.
That's what I was going to say. That's important for guys
stand.
like us, right, Tom?
So. Speak for yourself. Okay. But it's a neat event, and we thought it'd be a great way. We're now, hard to believe, we're wrapping up year 3. We're winding down our 3rd year of YourSportsEdge.com, and we thought this would be a great way to get involved with the younger kids, introduce them to the YourSportsEdge.com, get an event where they can go have fun and compete, and see the future stars of tomorrow. Get us a chance to see the ones that are going to be coming up that we'll be covering when they get to the various high schools across the area.
And there's tons of stuff up right now at YourSportsEdge.com. You can go back and look at all the state wrestling stuff from last weekend. And Caldwell County had 4 kids medal up there. Took 7, had 4 medals come back. Lots of basketball stuff up, especially next week with postseason play beginning. Yeah. And I took
swimming.
Lyon County. We got swimming.
Yeah, I'm headed. Josh is going in the morning. I'm going tomorrow afternoon.
I took Lyon County baseball and softball pictures yesterday, so spring sports are almost upon us. So
you realize tennis season, I was putting schedules in our planning calendar yesterday. Tennis season starts March 9th.
Yeah. Wow. One of the Lyon County teams, baseball, I think, has a scrimmage March 3rd.
Yeah.
Caldwell County and Christian County are scheduled to scrimmage in baseball March 7th, I believe. Trying to remember those off the top of my head, but
you're good at that. I tell you what's wonderful about YourSportsEdge.com. If for a parent, for a grandparent, if you can't make the event, you can pull up some fantastic work. Sometimes you get a video, you'll get a Max's Moment, but the pictures, the photography done by the staff is just second to none. And really all the way around, Tom, it's just you can actually, if you miss it, you're there.
That's Todd and Scott. You have rookies like me learning to take pictures. But actually, our first scrimmage we have on our planning calendar is March 2nd, Monday. March 2nd.
Wow.
A week from Monday, Lyon County and Hopkins Central. And by the way, we will be covering the Caldwell County swim team at swimming this week.
Yes.
That is great.
The one-man swim.
Mr. Aaron Ziobro, I do believe.
Aaron's up there, so we will be there. I will be there Saturday morning to see Aaron compete at the swimming.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We'll have all that on YourSportsEdge.com. Check it out. Again, not sure everybody realizes just how much local content there is from Caldwell County. Hit the Caldwell County page and You can read all about the other night's win over University Heights Academy.
Yeah, you can bookmark that page. It'll take you straight there.
Yeah.
That's right. And, of course, if everybody's carrying around one of these wonderful little gadgets called a cell phone, whether it's the Google Play Store or Apple Store, download that app as well and get it on the fly.
And my understanding is the app is about to get some renovation significant too, so you would get that as an update. But yeah, get the app.
Yep.
You can actually send us some pictures if you want to on the app. But the app's a nice, handy way to you can pull it out of your pocket and scroll through the stories right there on the app and check it out.
We were talking about the Sportsplex earlier. I want to get back to that just for a second. I was told the other day that they actually built that place with the possibility of expanding it down the road.
I was talking with Chris because I was there covering. I had gone to go over to meet the Hoppers coach, and then the day that Cash Daniel was there, and they had a big soccer tournament going on. I said, dude, you need another soccer field in here. And he says if they had one more soccer field, they could host all kinds of stuff. And he says the building was built on one end. The wall was built so that if they wanted to, they could just take off the end wall, build it, and expand on and build that end wall in place. And so they built that with the possibility they might want to do that at some point. And of course, the Holiday Inn is getting close to opening out there, a brand new Holiday Inn Convention Center. So you have now the Bruce Convention Center, the Sportsplex, and a Holiday Inn, a full Holiday Inn with what I understand is going to be a pretty nice restaurant there, all right there. And of course, that area is on the south side of Hopkinsville, starting to pop up. But this makes a nice regional sports facility. I think that's how they're viewing it, is not just a Hopkinsville sports facility, but a regional sports facility.
Well, and the location is great because, you've got all the Clarksville area that's blowing up, and even from Nashville, you can come up and play in Hopkinsville, and it's just a short drive.
Well, the day I'm in there, I look up, and there's Daniel Courtner.
Yeah.
And 2 or 3 of his kids with the rest of the Vapor kids.
Yeah, the volleyball teams keep that place hopping, too.
Yeah. So it's a neat facility. And like I said, it will be a neat place to have that event. It's just right there off to itself, so you don't have to worry about the kids going outside and running all over the country. But it'll be a neat event, and it ought to be a lot of fun.
So that's the Future Stars Classic, again, coming up March 21st.
Deadline we've got set for registration is March 7th. The links to get to that registration page are all available at yoursportsedge.com. There's a banner there in the center, and then it's also on the nav bar. And if you need information, you can either send us an email at yoursportsedge.com, or you can contact Chris at the Sportsplex, especially if you're a coach or an official who'd like a little bit more information. Just call out to the Planners Bank Jenny Stewart Health Sportsplex, ask for Chris Young. He can tell you all about the details, the logistics, and how that's going to work that day.
So lots of basketball there. Basketball coming up tonight. I'm over at Morton's Gap. I think I've been to Morton's Gap about 50 times this year.
Well, it's sort of like a magnet over there. Just sort of Morton's Magnet Gap. You just sort of levitate
You
over
went
there.
the other night.
Yeah.
You went the other night to Old South Hopkins. You went to Norton.
Oh, that was fun.
That's true.
That was fun.
And we've all been to that. You and I have been to that gym a lot in the day.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting place to go.
But I hadn't been there in like 25 years. And before I confuse anybody, it's Lyon County's doubleheader at Hopkins
that's what I
County.
say.
You're on Sports Edge duty tonight.
Yeah, I don't want the Caldwell County folks to run over to Morton's Gap. And
Siri didn't understand.
You launched my Siri.
Siri's even confused at this point.
I'm sitting there, silence my phone, and Siri wakes up.
So that's a Lyon County doubleheader over at Hopkins County Central tonight. I think it's the last home games for Hopkins County Central, and I don't know if they're having senior night or if they've already done that, but that'd be cool if it was senior night.
Oh.
And Michael Freilich's doing well over there. Got off to a rough start at 0-13, but I think they've gone 8-6 since then and playing a lot better.
Like I said, that would worry me a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
It ought to be just electric.
Bob's here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not Tom. That's Tom. Bob's here.
Following a legend, I suppose.
Got him turned on just in time too. So
and he's look, he is
He's
dressed.
ready to go.
He's
Yeah.
dressed for success.
I didn't know whether the TV would be on me or not.
Yes.
Caldwell County with a doubleheader coming up on Friday. Tigers and Lady Tigers play Livingston Central here. It will be senior night Friday at the Cab, and Bob, the Tigers coming off a big win over UHA the other night, so they ought to have a lot of momentum going into that game.
A big, impressive win, and really ending the season on a tremendous note as we go into the postseason.
Tom, we were talking earlier about all the basketball coming up, and you mentioned you're going to swimming
State swimming. Yep.
Yeah, so at yoursportsedge.com, it's going to be busy the next 2 weeks.
It's going to be interesting. It's my first time to cover a swim meet, and I'm covering it at State.
Yeah.
Of course, we don't have a lot of the meets that are hosted anywhere close. But, yeah, it's been interesting. There are several kids from Hoptown, some Madisonville kids, and, of course, Aaron Ziobro will be there. Aaron is swimming, I believe, in 2 events on Saturday morning.
Swimming is one of those sports that not every school has, but can be pretty competitive.
Well, and actually that meet starts today, but they start with sports that I don't think anybody down here, they start with diving today, and I don't think anybody west of Bowling Green has a diver. But you do have some schools, Madisonville has a swim team, Hoptown has a team, Christian County has a few swimmers. You have Aaron Ziobro here, the McCracken schools swim. But yeah, the necessity of having a pool somewhere close makes that a little tougher, because what I think my understanding is Aaron goes to, is it Muhlenberg County to practice?
Maybe, I think so. Yeah. I'm not certain.
But I mean, he did, there's no pool for him here. So, but it's neat that he is getting, he qualified for state and he does get to go compete.
Yeah,
we've had an occasional kid swim.
I think
but
Matthew Rogers was maybe our last one. Yeah. Maybe, I'm not sure, but I know he was,
Maybe Katie Hardigan.
Yes,
maybe,
she did.
Yeah, maybe Katie Hardigan did. So, but yeah, it's just one of those things, in the wintertime, if there's no indoor facility, it's hard to practice.
The only school in an immediate range here that's got a pool, I guess.
Hopkinsville.
Madisonville doesn't have a pool at the school, I don't believe, do they?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think they go somewhere there in town.
Yeah.
So Hopkinsville is the only school in this immediate area. You go to McCracken. I don't know if McCracken has a pool, but Hopkinsville does, and that's.
And those towns have YMCAs, which usually are equipped with a pool and do their training there, if the school doesn't have them.
I'm surprised McCracken County doesn't have one, because they have everything else.
Yeah.
It's like going to a small college.
There are small colleges that would die
I was gonna
to
say,
have the facilities they have at McCracken.
This is the Sideline Report on 1580, 103.3 WPKY. Tom Rogers is with us this morning. Bob Hayes has joined us. Ty Englebright is here. We need to get to another break on the show, though. We'll be back with more in just a minute on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Brantley Furniture.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast. Becoming mostly sunny today and breezy conditions with a high around 41. Overnight, a mostly clear sky. Temperature is going to drop to 20. Then tomorrow and Saturday, sunshine. Friday's high 40 degrees. Friday night, we'll see a clear sky, low around 24. And then Saturday, the temperature will climb to 49 degrees. But again today, becoming mostly sunny, high around 41.
Don't be left out in the cold this winter. Fortner Gas is ready to keep you warm. Fortner Gas is available 24/7 and will always take care of their customers when other companies leave people in the cold. Just contact Fortner Gas and schedule a propane delivery to your home or business. They want your business and will prove that to you. You can count on Fortner Gas in Princeton to keep you warm and toasty this winter. Doesn't that sound good? Fortner Gas, since 1951.
Winter? Spring? Which is it? The weather is nuts. Warm one day, freezing the next. Thank goodness for Bella Marie Boutique, because they have clothes for all kinds of weather. And one thing I really love is that lots of the fashions you'll find at Bella Marie are transitional, meaning you can wear it now with a coat, a jacket, or a sweater, and then enjoy it later when the weather warms up. Beautiful fashions, great prices, fantastic customer service. Bella Marie Boutique, Princeton, Hopkinsville, and Madisonville. Follow on Facebook and Instagram.
Back on the Sideline Report on 1580, 103.3 WPKY. Todd Griffin in the WPKY studios this morning with Tom Rogers, Bob Hayes, Ty Englebright. A big show. And before we go any further, though, I want to tell you about Dave's Deal of the Week at U-Ride in Princeton. Ty, listen to this. It's a 2007 Toyota Tundra 4x4.
Dave's done it again.
Yeah, that's Dave's Deal of the Week. See Dave for details at U-Ride in Princeton. That's U-Ride, 310 Marion Road, Princeton. Telephone 270-365-3215. Be sure to ask about Dave's Deal of the Week at U-Ride in Princeton. And some other business to get to. I want to remind everybody that Youth Incorporated baseball and softball registration is going on right now. And evaluations will be coming up on Saturday, March 14th at the Ratliff Park Complex. Evaluations for baseball will run from 10 a.m. till noon that day. 8U baseball will be in the Oliver Park, 10U baseball at Settle Field, and 12U baseball at Tilly Field. Softball also that day. 8U softball on the T-ball field from 11 to 1, and then 10U and 12U softball over on the VFW outfield. Forms are available if you need to sign up for Youth Incorporated at the Athletic Center in Princeton. You can even, Bob, pay your money there, sign up, and get ready to go for the upcoming season.
Absolutely.
So Youth Incorporated baseball and softball. We said it was almost spring. Well, right here you go, Ty.
Right here it is. And, of course, man, I've always loved this time of year because I love baseball, whether it's that level or Major League. And, you can just smell the leather, and I know we're getting ready to get there. So
you know what the bad thing is, though? All this nice weather we've had the past week, and when we have the first baseball game of the season,
it'll be spitting snow.
It'll be spitting snow.
23 degrees.
Yeah, it was 60 degrees last
Bob
week.
will be out there trying to stay warm. And
one of the coldest games I was ever was with Bob down in Lyon County, and it was snow flurry, and it was a girls softball game.
That was the second coldest game on
Oh, my
record for me.
goodness.
The first was the year before when we went Marshall County, went extra innings in a 39-degree day.
And the bad thing is you can't take pictures or shoot video with gloves on.
No.
It just doesn't work.
No, so your hands just freeze while you're out there trying to take
You're
pictures.
frozen.
But I remember one year I left the house that morning in a pair of shorts because it was a nice warm day. By the time I got to the ballpark, no fooling, the temperature had dropped at least 40 degrees. By the time the game was over, it was sleeting and snowing. And that had been a day that had started out about 75 or 76 degrees.
Yeah. You never know when you're on the road and you're a sports guy. You just got to pack it all.
That was an impressive front that came through.
Yeah, that was bad. And this time of year, I just throw everything in the truck, and because you never know. I mean, it could be a beautiful day at noon, and by the time 5 o'clock rolls around, I mean, you don't know what you've got.
Just mark it down. March 16th will be cold.
Exactly right.
Well, I said that all winter, that we'd have a mild winter, and then spring would be cold on us, but maybe not. Maybe we'll get good weather. I mean, the baseball and softball teams right now are just kind of hoping the rain goes away so that they can actually play when the scrimmages and games roll around.
And a lot of neat improvements going on, especially with the softball field out at the Youth Incorporated complex out there, the Ratliff complex, because I know they've worked extremely hard on the softball field. I think the girls have a new warning track out in the outfield, and some of the grass is gone and been moving around. So that ought to be a really, really great field as the season starts for our Lady Tigers.
And there's nothing like having a baseball, softball game out there going on
at the same time.
Because you can stand there by the concession stand and walk about 20 feet each way and see something.
Yeah.
So lots going on, and even out at the park, though, Bob, we need for the weather to help us out a little bit because it's getting close to season time, and there's still some work to be done on some of the fields.
Especially one park where we took up the grass infield and put dirt down, and we need dry weather to continue to work that in. And we had the idea to do the Tilly Park, the most remote park out there. We're not going to get to it this year because of the shortage of time and weather uncertainties and all of that, making that call risky if we started that.
Well, I'm really anxious to see how the new lights on the smaller fields out there are going to work because we're going to have more lights, so at least in my brain that says better lights.
Well, and I understand from Dwight that it's double the lumens, so if that means I can see twice as good with the new lights, maybe.
Well, let's hope so, and I'll tell you something else that helps is when you're trying to take pictures, it's always great to have more light.
Yeah, more light, good thing.
Good lighting helps.
Bob, I want to talk about a little bit more about the Butler games last week. I mean, Tom brought it up earlier that we got to go over to South Hopkins Middle School, and that was pretty fun that Monday and Tuesday having the throwback games on back-to-back nights.
Exactly, and again, before I forget it, I certainly want to compliment Greg Creekmer again at the vocational school here in Princeton, who built us a table, if you will, to place in the Butler gym up against the back wall on the press side, and really an outstanding job, very, very professionally done, and so I want to congratulate him on that. But it was neat being back in that gym where I had 2 years of basketball in that gym, and there's nothing like a basketball game in the Butler gym, nothing.
Yeah, we used to play Little League games in there. We played some middle school games in there. Back in the day, they used to have a game every year where the middle school would play during school, bring in somebody else, and the students would go in and watch. I would love for them to be able to do that now. And to me, on the high school level, I'm not sure how you could work out the logistics, but that'd be great if they had a high school game during school hours and just let the entire student body go in and watch a big game.
And the place in the past was packed. Crittenden County brought a tremendous crowd the other night to the Butler Gym. I think our crowd was just, to me, it wasn't packed on our side, but it was probably 85% packed over there. But just the revelry, and we're not only do we have a new floor, but we have new bleacher seats, and probably by September or October this year, we'll have new windows in that place, which will make it really look neat.
Well, it's always a big deal to go back to Butler, and there's so many people downtown that can just walk down there to a game and then walk home afterward.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're parked up at Black Patch Grill, that's only about a 3-block hike, and sometimes you get at the high school and you're walking at least that many miles or feet to get to the football game.
Well, and we've discussed this before, and it still seems strange to me, though, that Caldwell County has actually played in the Cab Gym longer than it played in Butler Gym.
And that's a fact. I mean, you can't escape that. It's just we got too big for our school. Had to build a new school. Obviously, that led to the building of the gym and led to the campus, the Butler Gym, being a walking place, more or less.
The very first game ever at Butler Gym was December 8th, 1959. Big night for Madisonville, though. Madisonville won that game 75 to 29.
I was a 12-year-old kid then, Tom.
Oh, cool. There.
We won't go into what the rest of us were.
Were you at the first game? Were you at the first game?
I was.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
And, of course, there's a big mystery at the Butler Gym. Does everybody know the mystery?
It has something to do with the flag.
Yes.
Yes.
The U.S. flag on the wall.
I thought you were going to say the seats were on the end of the court.
Well, see, I never realized that until William Freylake brought that up to me one day, that the benches used to be in the end zone. I didn't realize that, but when it first opened.
The old Vandy look.
Yeah,
huh?
that's where it was.
Yeah.
That used to be a more common thing back in the day at basketball gyms, though. Providence used to be that way, too.
Yes.
Okay, so back to the mystery. The flag in the gym only has 48 stars.
I'm impressed the flag has been up that long.
Well, that's the question.
Has it been up that long?
Has it been hanging there since 1959? Or was it in storage and somebody pulled it out at some point because they needed a new flag on the wall and just nobody noticed? Because Hawaii and Alaska both became states in 1959.
And I have no answer to that question. I don't know who.
I have never noticed in the times I've been in the Butler. I have never noticed.
And that's the, and
I don't know if there was a flag up when you were in the Butler Gym. Honestly, that's the.
But that's the other mystery too.
Yeah.
Who stood there and went, there's only 48 stars. Did you count them? No. I mean, how did we know?
Because the difference between 48 and 50, if you looked at it,
you can notice it, but I mean, when did it come? How did it come to your attention? I guess.
I think I just noticed during. I think I was taking pictures at a Little League game one day, and between games, you're just kind of sitting there looking around.
Yeah.
Well, the difference is though, if you look at the flag with 48 stars, the rows are even.
Yes.
If you look at a flag with 50 stars, they're offset.
They're offset. Yep.
So I'm not saying it's easy to spot.
Yeah,
but
you got 6
there
rows of 8 stars
right.
or 8 rows of 6 stars, whatever. But I think it's 6 rows of 8. But yeah, but that is really neat to know that has it been there that long or.
I've kind of asked around, but I can't find anybody that knows even when that flag was put up there.
Let's see, the throwback game started
2004.
I was going to say I was doing games then, and they decided I think it was Crittenden County that year. It was either Crittenden or Livingston that year. Livingston. And we decided to go to Butler. And I'm like, okay, how are we going to make this? But nevertheless, it was neat.
Yeah.
But that was that was about right, 2004.
So the first Caldwell win at Butler was January 8th, 1960, a 64-44 win over Fredonia. So there's your trivia right there. The first win was against Fredonia.
The Yellow Jackets.
Yes.
There were some great games in that gym. We used to host Princeton Dawson played Lowe's Blue Devils when they had Billy Chumler. It was one of those 92 to 90 games in that place. To see Dwight Smith and Greg play before Greg moved up to Caldwell County was impressive. And Jim McDaniels, you'll get around to that, I'm sure. I saw that game where he went over 50 points in that game for Allen County.
Yeah, I actually had a story up on yoursportsedge.com about the Butler Gym and the fact that McDaniels still holds the scoring record all these years later. Had a big night, and Dwight Smith had a big game in there too, and some really good basketball players came through there.
Tremendous basketball players in that era.
One of the biggest games, though, and I mentioned this in the story, the 87 game against Travis Ford in Madisonville, North Hopkins, a game that went to double overtime that Caldwell County won. Of course, Madisonville got its revenge a little bit later on by winning the second region championship on its home court over Caldwell County. So, you know.
And in that game at the Butler Gym, we had to survive a basket made at the end of the second
Travis
overtime.
made another shot.
That they finally waved off, or we would have lost that game.
Years later, I saw the film of that. I couldn't tell if it was before the buzzer or after the buzzer. I couldn't even really hear the buzzer. So the Madisonville folks to this day still say that we should have kept playing that night, and the Caldwell folks say the shot was clearly after the horn. Mm-hmm. So.
How many did Travis have that night? Do you have that?
I don't remember.
He was between 40 and 50.
So he lit it up pretty well.
And a lot of those from like the hash mark.
Yeah, they were long threes.
Yeah.
But just interesting when you go back to 1959 and some of the teams on the schedule. I mentioned Fredonia, Charleston was on there, North Marshall, going blank now, but there were just, it seemed like half the schedule.
Well, South Hopkins. And
schools that are no longer schools.
Had those little high schools.
Hopkinsville Addicts.
I can't remember if they were on there or not. I know Princeton Dotson used to play them a lot back in the day. So
You said, what year did the Butler open again?
1959.
So I'm trying to remember if the state champion North Marshall team, would that have been the year?
That was 57, I think,
okay.
With Pat
Charlie
Doyle.
Lampley was coaching that team.
Yeah, and Pat Doyle was their big gun.
The last season at Butler Gym was the 1987-88 season. And my class in 87 was the last group to graduate at Butler Gym. The next year, they got to enjoy the air conditioning at the cab. So I'm not bringing that up for anything.
So I just missed doing an original game in the Butler because I started doing play-by-play for Trigg. 86 football, didn't start doing basketball to the 88-89
Yeah,
season.
you just missed it.
So I literally just missed getting to do a game of the Butler.
The Cab Gym opened in December of 88. The Lady Tigers lost to Callaway County in the first game of the Cab. There's another trivia for you if you're into Caldwell County basketball trivia. But again, it seems strange that the Tigers and Lady Tigers have played longer now at the Cab than what they played at Butler Gym.
That is hard to believe, and I remember, going back to when I was in high school. I moved here in 1980. I was in 7th grade, and to go into that gym as a middle schooler when the middle school was still down there, you can walk into that gym. I talk about it every time we talk about it, but you can walk into that gym to this day, and still it smells the same way as it did back in 1980. You look up in the rafters, and it scared me to death. Coach Sykes, when he was down there, we had to climb the rope, and so you can go to the home side and look up on the rafter and see the notches up there with those ropes hanging down there, and you look up there and you go, man, that was a long way up there, and it was a real long way up there when you were in 7th grade.
There are a lot of great historic old gyms in this area that are not used a whole lot anymore. The Dog Pound.
Yeah.
I think what would really be neat sometimes if Webster County decided to play one of their games in the Dog Pound.
Well, I was told they can't because there's now a gymnastic academy that uses it. And,
that's a shame.
No, but you're right.
And they bolted down some equipment to the floor. I think the baskets are still there, but I don't know if you could go in there and actually play a game now.
I have interesting history in that building.
Because that'd be great to play Caldwell and Webster in that gym. It's kind of a meet in the middle kind of thing, and it would be cool to go back in there and play.
Can you share?
Can I share? Yeah. Most of the Caldwell fans back in that time know what I'm talking about. I got thrown out on the air one night.
Oh, that's exactly right.
I got thrown out with about a minute and something to go in a Caldwell Providence game up there one year.
And the ref said, you're out of here, didn't he?
Yeah, and now he's an assistant coach at Hoptown.
I actually have fond memories of the Dog Pound over at Providence. I had an offensive explosion over there one night in a ball game in Little League. 4 points.
Yeah. Woo! All right.
On about 10 or 12 shots. that was a good night for me.
Out of your mind, weren't you, Todd?
Yes, I mean,
He bronzed his shoes after that.
He does. Save these, coach. We're going to cast them in bronze.
Give that kid another shot.
No, it is really neat that these, even the Fredonia gym. Now, I know several of us used to go down there and, play pickup games. I know, Todd, you were down there a whole lot playing pickup games, but there's nothing like being in those old gyms. You mentioned the South Hopkins games last week. It just, it takes you a little bit back in time to a little bit different era, even though they haven't been used for a while.
You go, look at Muhlenberg County. How many old gyms they would have there?
Oh, yeah. They were so spread out.
Bremen, Central City, Muhlenberg Central, Hughes, Kirk.
What about Drakesboro?
Drakesboro. All of those.
Speaking of the Fredonia gym, and I guess I just gave away my next trivia question. But does anybody know where the Tigers played before they played at Butler Gym?
Bob.
Well, obviously.
Let me guess.
As we all turn and look at Bob.
But have you? I got to watch a couple games in the Butler in the
basement.
Now, you talk about a weird place to play. It was down in the basement level, dark in there, and those were the 50, 52, 53, 54 teams, 55 teams that played in there.
Well, and at some point in the 40s, during the war years, Caldwell County or Butler Tigers played their games over at Eastside Elementary in the auditorium. And I've been trying to think, that's not a real big auditorium, so exactly how did they squeeze a basketball floor and games into there?
Well, the same thing at Westside. When Westside had an auditorium, they had baskets in that environment.
Would that have been one of those where they had the different midcourt lines for each side?
Probably. I mean,
where the midcourt line going to the left is way down here.
Probably. And I never did see a game at Eastside or Westside if the varsity ever played there.
But some of the old gyms, they were not regulation. They were not anywhere close to 84 feet. It's just one of those things that I think they fit wherever they fit back in the day. So, but yeah, they played a lot of the games at Fredonia. They would practice at Fredonia. Sometimes the Butler teams would go up to Dotson and have practice. So,
and Dotson had a pretty nice gym.
So just interesting to look back at the old things, and I really love going back to Butler Gym and playing. And like I said, I was in basketball heaven when we had the back-to-back throwback games. Even though it wasn't scheduled that way, it sure worked out great.
The South Hopkins trip was my first time in the South Hopkins gym. I'd been in West Hopkins on several occasions, but never in the South Hopkins gym for some reason.
And I think the neat thing about those gyms, especially at Butler, when you were there in those old, at least the way the old bleachers were set up, you were right there on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you were in those first couple of rows. So, I mean, the game was right there in your face. You almost had to, you could have players coming out. If they went out of bounds, the ball coming out of bounds, you're right there. And I remember my senior year, I think it was Livingston Central. I told this story a couple weeks ago. Poor kid looked like Ron Howard, on Andy Griffith, Opie. And I mean, the Opie chants began, and it might have been, I don't know what, it was late in the season, but it was brutal. And that poor kid just had lost it. I mean, it got into his head, and that's a different. When you're right there, down there, you got a student section, kind of like the Caldwell Crazies are now, right down front. They're a little bit further from the court, but when you're right there and you're giving it to a player, it's a tough atmosphere, man.
I remember old gyms where when they go to put the ball in bounds on the sideline, they would literally, the back of their legs would be against the bleachers.
Right there against the bleachers.
You have to part legs to get
wanted to back up a little bit.
Yeah. So that's.
I've actually been to gyms where there was an interior line, like a little red line inside. When you were taking the ball out of bounds, that was the out of bounds line until it came in. The old Smithland gym used to be that way because you couldn't get your feet all the way out of bounds. So.
So I mean, it can be a game changer in those older gyms and how intimate they can be depending on the bleacher placement.
Yeah, the dog Providence was quite intimate. 6 rows, and if you were sitting in the wrong place, you were behind a pole, and you couldn't see.
And that's a football field as well.
Well, yeah, that's still
my goodness,
a football field at Webster.
And if you were a basketball player, you didn't want to go chasing a ball out of bounds, too quickly because again, there was a great big
post.
The wall was unforgiving.
On the Sideline Report this morning, we've got Tom Rogers, Bob Hayes, Ty Englebright is here. Got more to come on the show, but we got to get to a break, so we'll be back with more after this on 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Treasures Remembered.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast. Not looking too bad the next couple of days. However, rain will enter the forecast Saturday night and continue through the rest of the weekend. So until then, we can enjoy a mostly sunny sky today with a high around 41. Then tonight, a mostly clear sky, temperature dropping to 20. Tomorrow, sunshine, high around 40. Saturday, more of the same with the high around 49. But again, today, gradually becoming mostly sunny, high around 41.
There's an advantage in being the home team. You know who Emma Talley, Jake Lewis, and Pat Gates are. You've seen the wall around Butler Stadium and have heard of the Caldwell Crazies. Trice Hughes, we're your home team. Here's our home team deal of the week.
2018 Buick Regal, 13,000 miles, Trice priced at $269 per month for 72 months.
Get this home team deal of the week at Trice Hughes. Find us on Highway 91 North, Princeton, or TriceHughes.com.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
Imagine if there were a place you could go to buy gift certificates to some of the best businesses in town. Now, imagine all those great gift certificates priced 30, 35, 40%, and at times over 60% or more off retail every day of the week. The Loyal Listener Big Deal Store is online and waiting for you to shop and buy gift certificates to local businesses. Go to WPKYonline.com.
The Sideline Report continues on 1580 103.3 WPKY. Thanks for joining us this morning. Tom Rogers, Bob Hayes, Ty Englebright all in on the show today. And, gentlemen, we were talking about old gyms, and, I racked my brain the other night trying to figure out where we could possibly play another one. The only gym that I could come up with in the second region that is still being used, to play ball games is West Hopkins over at Rabbit Ridge.
Yep.
The school out in the, and literally that school's out in the middle of. There's nothing else out there but the school.
Yeah, right. Well, that was a question that was asked when we went to South Hopkins Middle School: is what about playing at West Hopkins? And everybody was like, "Well, nobody wants to drive out to Rabbit Ridge for a ball game."
No, at least at South Middle, you're on 41.
Yeah.
To get to Rabbit Ridge, it's
it's just a tough place to
yeah.
It's not. I mean, it's not hard to get to, but the road's just not as good to get out there.
I kind of liked it back in the day, though. It's kind of like going the old way to Madisonville and then just make a little turn, and it's right there. And I always thought it was a nice older gym. It was one of the better gyms. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the seating capacity was much bigger than South Hopkins.
And if you're broadcasting the game, it's cool to say that you're broadcasting from out of Rabbit Ridge.
Oh,
Isn't that just cool?
You have to say Rabbit Ridge.
You got to say you're out of Rabbit Ridge, don't you?
That's like Borden's Gap. I've got a condo in Borden's Gap. I've been over so much the last 5 years.
And Todd's been over there a lot lately as well.
Yeah,
or over at least
I think
that
I've been
way.
there all season, yeah. That's all right, though. We like the 7th District and like all the teams, and get to see Michael Freilich's going to go over there, so it's all cool. I mean, it's a good trip. It's, 35 minutes tops if you get on it, so it's a good trip.
It's a nice facility. I just wish they'd put more lights in it. You and I both wish they'd put a lot more lights in that gym.
Absolutely. That was the only concern I had in the Butler gym. Back where we were, it was pretty dark up there. I'm going to have to take me a night lamp next time I have a game in that gym. But down on the floor, well lit.
Oh, yeah. One thing that surprised me with the gyms over in Hopkins County, though, South Hopkins High School back in the day was the Tomcats, but South Hopkins Middle School is the Wildcats. West Hopkins was obviously the Rebels. Well, the middle school over there is now the Cardinals. So they've
kind of.
And then how did they come up with the name Storm for Hopkins County Central?
I'm not sure. I think they just wanted something that didn't really.
Well, that's a unique name.
I'm trying to remember what the story was when they did that, but that's.
I just think they were looking. They were looking to get away from. You don't want to lean when you have a new school. You don't want to lean one way or the other when you're going to the schools that go into it. It's kind of like the Muhlenberg County schools when they consolidated and tried to use one color from each previous school. some interesting situations when you try to.
Didn't they at one time have the?
They had the Suns and the Stars.
The Suns, that's right.
Well, they went to two
Suns.
schools. They first merged down to two schools: Muhlenberg North, Muhlenberg South. North were the Stars.
That's right.
South were the Suns.
Yep.
And then when they remerged again, they went to the Mustangs.
Yep.
And they were the first for the Mustangs in this end of the state.
Then McCracken followed suit.
I never could figure that out. You know, McCracken had a chance to really come up with a unique nickname and kind of forge its own path.
It's the old Atomic City. Why couldn't you be the Atom?
Or the Rivermen.
Anything. I mean, but
the Steam Captain.
Hey, Heath had cool. Heath was the Pirates.
Oh yeah.
But Muhlenberg beat them to Mustangs. So I mean, I don't understand why they became the Mustangs. But.
I guess the M factor.
Or they could have gone with
Muhlenberg, Mustangs, McCracken, Mustangs.
They could have gone with the flashy pirate Greyhounds.
There you go. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Yeah, and you know, when the Paducah schools consolidated, I liked a lot of those mascot names from down there. And then I went to school when I went to Murray with a lot of those kids that came from those different schools, and it was fun to listen to them talk about the rivalries. Of course, unless you were from Reedland, but anyway, no, I'm kidding. but it was it was fun.
Hey, Carlisle County has cool in the comments.
Yeah, that's a cool.
Exactly. I think as a nickname, and of course. Going back 100 years, I think the nicknames were just kind of given to teams. I don't think there was a lot of the Tiger nickname for Caldwell County came because Madisonville, and one of the first football games Caldwell County, Princeton Butler, ever played, a letter was written to the paper saying that, be proud of your team because they fought like tigers.
And the UK, in that similar way back in the 30s, they fought like wildcats. Yeah. And the name stuck.
And that's neat. I think you've come up with a whole new show here.
Wow.
Talking about mascots.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll just come in one day and talk about all
everybody wear their old shirts.
Sure, if you got
name
them,
all
bring
the
them
high
on.
school names in the first and second regions.
And you got
there's a project for you for Sports Edge when the season's over, is to do a series on different schools, their mascots, their names, and how they came to be.
That'd be really great. The history part of it's fun too.
I wonder if at a lot of schools you could even trace the origins of the nickname.
Yeah. Like I said, this is fun stuff.
Sounds like a Todd project.
It does.
Unfortunately, though, we're out of time for today, so it'll have to wait for a future show. Bob, you guys have a doubleheader coming up Friday.
We finish the season out tomorrow night with Livingston Central, and then we're on the road Monday night for the girls, Tuesday night for the boys, and hopefully we'll be there Thursday and Friday, hoping the two teams win Monday and Tuesday.
Well, that's going to wrap us up on the show today. Everybody, thanks. Ty Englebright, Tom Rogers, Bob Hayes. This is Todd Griffin. Thanks for listening to the Sideline Report here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Serving Caldwell County since 1950.